Grandma, why do you always smell funny? That's what my 7-year-old granddaughter, Ella, whispered to her mom after they visited me. She wasn't being rude, just honest, the way kids often are, but those few innocent words hit me like a punch to the chest. I was 72, a clean woman. My house was tidy, my clothes were fresh, I showered every day. And yet, my granddaughter didn't want to hug me anymore. That night, I sat at the edge of my bed, clutching my towel, wondering, do I really smell like an old person? I thought back to the visit, how Ella had sat at the far end of the couch, how she turned her head during a kiss, how she hesitated before climbing into my lap. I hadn't changed anything. Same soap, same shampoo, clean clothes. Still, something was clearly different, and I know I'm not alone. If you're over 60, maybe you felt the same, like people are pulling away just a little, like the grandkids don't lean in as much, like the hugs are shorter, the room gets aired out when you leave, or someone discreetly opens a window behind you. It hurts. It's subtle, but it's real, and it makes you wonder what changed. But here's what I've learned. It's not our fault, and we're not imagining it. There is a scent that can come with aging, and almost no one talks about it. That silence, it's not just awkward, it's harmful, because it turns something completely natural into something shameful. And that shame, it isolates us. It makes us feel anxious, less confident, even embarrassed to be close to the people we love. But today, I want to help break that silence, gently, honestly, with respect. Because no one should carry guilt for something so human. And here's the best part. That smell, whatever you've heard people call it, doesn't have to be permanent. It's not just part of getting old. It can be managed, even reversed. You just need to understand why it happens and what to do about it. We're not talking about expensive sprays or fancy lotions. I'm talking about real, natural ways I've found to feel clean again, to feel like myself, to feel close to the people I love. So let's start with the question I asked myself that night in bed. Do I really smell different now? The answer is yes, but it's not what you think. Old people smell. Is it real? Yes, it's real. But let me be very clear. It has nothing to do with being dirty, nothing to do with laziness. It's about how our bodies change with time. What some call old people smell actually has a scientific name. It's caused by a natural compound called 2-non-enol, a chemical that starts to show up on our skin around age 40 and becomes stronger after 60. It doesn't come from sweat. It doesn't mean I skipped a shower. And the strangest part, I couldn't smell it on myself. Here's what I've learned. As we age, the oils our skin produces begin to change. Our sebum, our natural skin oil, starts to contain more of this 2-non-enol. It forms when the fatty acids on our skin oxidize, especially if we're stressed, eating poorly, or not sleeping well. Our skin also renews itself more slowly as we get older, which adds to the buildup. The result? A subtle, musty, grassy, slightly greasy scent that younger people seem to notice right away, even though I couldn't detect it at all. And no, this isn't something wrong with us. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's just biology. Think about it. Just like babies have that sweet new baby smell, we older folks can develop a scent too. The difference? Society embraces the baby's scent and avoids ours. But the reality is this. Most of us can't smell it on ourselves. Our families often don't bring it up because they don't want to hurt us. So we're left to guess, and that confusion is painful. I used to wonder if I was just being paranoid, but I wasn't. It's real. And the silence around it just made me feel more alone. In Japan, they have a word for this scent. Kareishu. It means the smell of aging. They've studied it, acknowledged it, offered gentle ways to manage it. But here, we don't talk about it. We pretend it's not there. Meanwhile, people like me feel embarrassed, hurt, ashamed. Well, I don't want to feel that way anymore, and neither should you. Because we deserve to understand what's happening to our bodies. We deserve real solutions, not shame. And we deserve to age with pride. So yes, there's a scent that comes with age. But no, it doesn't have to control our lives. It's something we can absolutely do something about. In the next section, I'll show you the 3 main reasons this smell happens, and once you know why, it gets much easier to fix. Let's keep going. I promise, it gets better from here. The 3 hidden causes of body odor. After 60, now that we know the smell is real, and not something to be ashamed of, it's time to understand why it happens. And I want to be very clear here. This isn't your fault. These are not hygiene issues. These are changes that happen in every aging body, even when we're doing everything right. Once I learned what was actually going on inside my body, everything started to make sense. I stopped blaming myself. I stopped wondering if I was doing something wrong, and more importantly, I finally started to feel like I had a way forward. So here are the 3 biggest reasons I, and many people over 60, develop that subtle but stubborn scent we often call old person smell. 1. We sweat less. But that's not always a good thing. You'd think sweating less would be a blessing, right? Less sweat, less smell. But the truth is a little more complicated. When I was younger, my body naturally flushed out toxins through sweat. It was like a daily reset button. I never thought much about it. But after I turned 60, I noticed I didn't sweat as much, even on hot days or during a walk. I thought it was just my body being efficient. What I didn't realize was this. Sweat helps carry waste and bacteria out of the body. It keeps our skin clean even when we're not washing it. But when our sweat glands slow down with age, those toxins don't go away. They stay on the skin, feeding bacteria that create odor. So while I was sweating less, I was also giving odor-causing bacteria more of a chance to grow. And that smell? It wasn't from dirt. It was from the things my body couldn't flush out anymore. 2. Our skin chemistry changes, and so does our oil. I always thought my skin was pretty normal, a little drier than when I was younger maybe, but nothing drastic. What I didn't know was that the oil my skin produces had completely changed. Around the age of 50 or 60, our skin starts making a special fatty compound called 2-non-enol, the same one I mentioned earlier. This compound is almost never found in younger people, but in older adults it becomes more and more common. And here's the tricky part. 2-non-enol has a very distinct smell. Some say it's like stale cooking oil. Others describe it as slightly grassy or waxy. Whatever it is, it lingers. Even worse, soap and perfume don't wash it away. In fact, scented products can mix with it and make the smell stronger. This oil builds up especially in warm, folded areas of the body, behind the ears, under the arms, around the neck, and across the back. Even if we're showering every day, if we're not washing deeply and specifically in these places, the 2-non-enol keeps collecting. And that's exactly what happened to me. I thought I was clean, but I was skipping the very areas that needed the most attention. 3. Dry mouth. And the breath no one talks about. This one surprised me. I've always brushed my teeth, used mouthwash. I even carry mints in my purse, so I didn't think my breath was an issue. But as we get older, our mouths produce much less saliva, sometimes up to 50% less than when we were younger. And saliva does more than just help us chew. It's our body's natural mouthwash. It washes away bacteria, balances acid levels, and keeps our breath fresh. When we don't have enough saliva, those bacteria multiply. They sit on the tongue, hide between the teeth, and create gases that smell, well, not great. And here's the worst part. Most of us can't smell our own breath. So we walk around thinking everything's fine, while others quietly keep their distance. When I learned this, I was shocked, but I also felt relieved, because finally, I understood why even close family members sometimes leaned away during a conversation. it wasn't me. It wasn't neglect. It was a simple, silent change inside my body. These three things, less sweat, changing skin oil, and dry mouth, work together to create that scent we're talking about. Each one might seem small on its own, but combined, they can change how we smell to others, even if we're doing everything we can to stay clean. The good news is, once we know what's going on, we can do something about it. In the next part, I'll show you the 3 specific areas of the body most people miss when they clean, and how focusing on them changed everything for me. Let's keep going. You're doing great. The body areas most people miss and why they matter. I always thought I knew how to clean myself properly. I showered every day. I used good soap. I shampooed my hair and changed my clothes regularly. But still, something wasn't right. No one ever told me that where I cleaned mattered just as much as how often. Once I learned this, it changed everything. See, there are certain areas of our bodies, especially as we get older, that collect more sweat, oil, and dead skin than others. These spots are often harder to reach, easier to forget, and more likely to trap odor. Once I started paying attention to these specific areas, the difference was almost immediate. My skin felt fresher, my confidence grew, and most importantly, my family noticed, in a good way. Here are the 3 body zones I and most people tend to overlook. 1. Skin folds and creases, the hidden bacteria zones. As we age, our skin becomes softer and more delicate. We also develop more natural folds and creases. These include areas like behind the ears, under the arms, beneath the breasts, around the belly button, in the groin area. Behind the knees, inside the elbows. These spots are warm, slightly damp, and often poorly ventilated. That makes them the perfect environment for bacteria to thrive. And because they're hidden, we often miss them during our daily showers. We rinse over them, but we don't clean them. I used to think I was doing enough, but when I started gently scrubbing behind my ears and under my breasts with a soft washcloth and mild soap, I noticed a difference right away. That persistent smell I couldn't quite get rid of, it faded. What helped me? Using a soft cloth and warm, not hot water to clean these folds gently but thoroughly. No need to scrub hard, just be consistent and mindful. 2. Hairy areas, the oil collectors, hair traps sweat and oil. That's its job, but if we don't clean it well, especially as we age, it can become a major source of odor. I used to think washing my hair meant pouring shampoo, lathering quickly, and rinsing. What I wasn't doing was actually massaging my scalp. That's where the problem was hiding. The scalp, underarm hair, chest hair, and even belly hair in some people can collect sebum, the natural oil that carries 2-nonenal. If not properly cleaned, that oil builds up and mixes with sweat, creating a noticeable scent. What helped me? When shampooing, I now use my fingertips to massage my scalp for 30 seconds, not just swipe and rinse. For underarms and chest, I lather with care, rinse thoroughly, and dry completely afterward. The result? My head, my underarms, and even my upper body felt cleaner and smelled better. 3. Feet, toes, and palms, the silent sweat zones. Our feet are packed with sweat glands, but because we're often wearing socks and shoes, that moisture has nowhere to go. It builds up, it gets trapped, and it starts to smell. And yet, for years, I barely gave my feet any attention in the shower. I'd wash over them, sure, but I wasn't cleaning between my toes. I wasn't drying them properly. I wasn't rotating my shoes or wearing breathable socks. And it made a difference I could feel and smell. Even the palms of our hands, especially if we use canes or walkers, can collect oils and bacteria. What helped me? I now gently scrub between my toes with a washcloth or soft brush, dry my feet completely, especially before putting on socks, and rotate my shoes every other day. I also switched to breathable cotton socks, which helped a lot. These 3 areas, skin folds, hairy zones, and sweaty extremities, might not seem like much, but they were the missing piece in my routine. Once I started giving them the care they needed, I felt like myself again, clean, comfortable, and most importantly, close to the people I love. In the next part, I'll share the 3 simple daily habits that helped support my body from the inside out. Habits that only take a few minutes a day, but made a big impact on how I smell, how I feel, and how people respond to me. Let's keep going. We're just getting started. 3 simple habits that helped me smell better from the inside out. After I cleaned the right areas of my body more carefully, I noticed a difference, but I wanted the change to last. I didn't want to just mask the smell. I wanted to support my body so that odor wouldn't return so easily. That's when I started looking inward. I asked myself, what small things could I do every day to help my body work with me instead of feeling like it was working against me? It turns out I didn't need fancy products or big lifestyle changes. Just 3 little habits, done consistently, made a huge difference. Here's what worked for me. 1. Drinking warm water, especially in the morning. I used to start my mornings with coffee, and I still enjoy it. But now, before anything else, I drink a full glass of warm water. Not cold, not tea, just warm water. It sounds too simple to matter, but the effects have been amazing. Warm water helps flush out toxins from your kidneys and bladder before they build up and get pushed out through your skin. It also jumpstarts digestion and gets your body gently moving after a night of rest. After just a week of doing this, I felt lighter, my skin looked clearer, even my breath felt fresher. What helped me? I keep a thermos of warm water by my bed. As soon as I wake up, I sip slowly, about 8 ounces. I repeat this 2-3 more times throughout the day. Pro tip: don't count coffee or tea toward your water intake. In fact, caffeine can dehydrate you and make odor worse. For every cup of coffee, I drink an extra cup of water. 2. Getting gentle sunlight and movement. Every day, I'll be honest, I used to think exercise meant going to the gym or doing jumping jacks. That was never going to work for me. Then I realized I didn't need to move hard. I just needed to move gently and regularly. So I started taking short walks in the morning or late afternoon when the sun is soft. Just 15-20 minutes around the block or even pacing on my porch. The sunlight helps kill surface bacteria, boosts vitamin D, which helps with everything from mood to immune health, and improves circulation, especially to the skin. And the light movement helps me sweat just a little, enough to release what my body needs to let go of. What helped me, I started walking at 8 a.m. with a light scarf and hat. On cloudy days, I stretch inside near a window. Just 20 minutes a day made me feel younger and noticeably fresher. 3. Bathing the right way, not just often. I always bathed daily, but no one ever told me how to do it right for my age. Hot showers felt good, but they were drying out my skin. Strong soaps made me feel clean, but actually stripped my natural barrier and made odor worse over time. So I made 3 small changes. I switched to lukewarm water, not too hot, not too cold. I used mild, fragrance-free soap that didn't disturb my skin. I dried myself completely, especially in the folds and creases. And once a week, I soaked in a warm bath for 15 minutes with Epsom salt or baking soda to help draw out deeper oils. What helped me? I now think of bathing as an act of care, not just a task. I take my time. I use a soft cloth. I let my skin breathe before dressing. These 3 habits, drinking warm water, moving in sunlight, and bathing gently, take less than 30 minutes a day. But they've made a world of difference. Not just in how I smell, but in how I feel, in how people respond to me, in how confidently I walk into a room. In the next part, I'll talk about something that surprised me even more, how food, what we eat every day, can either clean our bodies from the inside or make odor worse without us even realizing it. Let's explore that together next. What I eat now to smell better. the foods that changed everything. When I first heard that food could change how a person smells, I honestly didn't believe it. I thought odor was just something that came from the outside. Sweat, soap, clothes. But I was wrong. What we eat doesn't just fuel our body, it changes how we smell. I learned this the hard way and then the empowering way, because once I understood how my daily meals were affecting the way my body functioned, and yes, smelled, I made small, gentle changes, and the results were almost immediate. Here's what I discovered works best for me. 1. Eating more antioxidant-rich foods. As we age, something called oxidative stress builds up inside us. It's part of what makes our cells age and can even contribute to that musty smell people associate with getting older. The antidote? Antioxidants. These are compounds in foods that help fight off those unstable molecules, keeping our cells cleaner, our skin healthier, and yes, our body odor lighter. Now, I didn't start eating fancy things. I just made simple swaps. 1 apple a day. Easy to carry, easy to chew. A slice of tomato with lunch or dinner, a handful of blueberries or strawberries, a bowl of brown rice instead of white oats in the morning instead of white toast. What helped me? I aimed to eat 1 antioxidant food at every meal. Nothing extreme, just colorful, fresh, and real. Within a couple of weeks, I noticed my skin felt less greasy, and my underarm odor faded significantly, even on hot days. 2. Adding garlic. Yes, garlic. This one shocked me. I always thought garlic caused bad breath and strong body odor. But I learned something new. While raw garlic can temporarily affect breath, once it's digested, garlic actually acts as a natural antibiotic inside the body. It helps fight harmful bacteria from the inside out, including the ones that cause odor. Garlic also helps the liver detox gently and keeps the gut clean. I started slow. 1 small clove chopped into soup or stir-fry roasted garlic spread on toast, a spoon of minced garlic mixed with cooked veggies. What helped me? Eating garlic 3 to 4 times a week made my digestion smoother and actually made me smell cleaner, not worse. 3. Choosing water-rich fruits and vegetables. I never realized how dehydrated I really was. And when the body doesn't get enough water, it can't flush out waste properly. So some of it escapes through the skin, creating odor. The easiest way I found to hydrate wasn't just drinking water, it was eating it. These are my go-to water-rich foods: cucumbers, watermelon, pears, tomatoes, celery. What helped me? I made a simple salad of tomato, cucumber, and pear every other day, or I blended them into a smoothie. It kept me feeling full, light, and fresh from the inside out. 4. Cutting back on foods that made odor worse. It wasn't just about adding good things, it was also about reducing the foods that made me smell not great. Here's what I gently cut down. Coffee. I still drink it, but no more than 1 small cup. Alcohol. Switch to warm barley tea. Fried and greasy foods, especially from takeout. Processed meats like sausages or ham. These foods didn't just upset my stomach. They slowed down digestion and made my skin oilier. Once I eased off them, I felt fresher inside and out. What helped me? I didn't quit everything. I just chose balance. 1 coffee in the morning, less salty snacks, and more whole foods my body recognized. Food isn't just about taste, it's about how we feel and how we smell. The more real, colorful, and fresh my meals became, the more my body thanked me, quietly, kindly, through clearer skin, lighter breath, and more confidence. In the next part, I'll talk about something many people ignore, the health of your mouth. Because even if you eat well, your breath might still be telling a different story. And there's a gentle fix for that, too. Dry mouth and bad breath. How I fixed it. For a long time, I thought I had good oral hygiene. I brushed my teeth twice a day, used mouthwash, and always carried mints for that extra fresh feeling. But something wasn't right. My breath just didn't feel as fresh as it used to. I didn't know it at the time, but as we age, our body naturally produces less saliva. And saliva is so much more than just something that helps us chew and swallow. It actually plays a huge role in keeping our mouth clean. Saliva washes away food particles, balances acid levels in the mouth, and neutralizes harmful bacteria. Without enough saliva, bacteria build up, leading to bad breath. I was brushing and using mouthwash, but it wasn't enough. The problem wasn't poor hygiene. It was simply the natural aging process. What I did to fix it, I didn't want to rely on chemicals or sprays to mask the issue, so I focused on 3 simple natural habits to manage my dry mouth and bad breath. Brushing. More frequently. I'd always brush my teeth twice a day, but with dry mouth, bacteria can multiply much faster than I realized. So I started brushing 3 times a day. Once in the morning, once after lunch, and once before bed. This extra brushing helped to remove bacteria that built up in my mouth throughout the day. What helped me? I used a soft bristled toothbrush with fluoride toothpaste. I made sure to brush my tongue, gums, and the back of my mouth, where bacteria love to hide. Using a tongue scraper. Most people skip cleaning their tongue, but I soon realized the importance of it. Your tongue holds up to 90% of the bacteria that cause bad breath. A toothbrush alone can't do the job. It's essential to use a tongue scraper. At first, I was skeptical, but after a few days of scraping my tongue every morning, I noticed a big difference in how fresh my breath was. What helped me? I used a tongue scraper, easy to find in any drugstore, to gently scrape from the back of my tongue to the tip. It only takes a few seconds, but it was a game changer. Chewing sugar-free gum. Because my mouth wasn't producing enough saliva on its own, I needed a way to stimulate it. Chewing sugar-free gum became my solution. The act of chewing increases saliva production, which helps wash away bacteria and food particles. Plus, it kept my mouth feeling fresh throughout the day. What helped me? I kept a pack of xylitol-based gum in my bag and chewed a piece after meals or whenever my mouth felt dry. This habit made a huge difference in how fresh my breath was. By adding these 3 simple habits, brushing more frequently, scraping my tongue, and chewing sugar-free gum, I noticed a huge improvement. I felt more confident speaking to people without worrying about my breath, and most importantly, I didn't have to hide behind mints or mouthwash all the time. In the next section, I'll share how to take care of your body's environment, like your clothes, shoes, and bedding. Even if you're doing everything right with your body, your environment can still trap unwanted smells. Let's keep going. Clothes, shoes, and bedding, where smells hide. As I continued to work on improving my body's natural smell, I realized that it wasn't just about what was happening inside my body, it was also about the things I was surrounding myself with. At first, I didn't think much about it. After all, I was already bathing properly, drinking warm water, and getting sunlight. But then I started to notice that the smell would return more quickly than I expected. I couldn't figure out why. One day, after a particularly frustrating day, I stopped and thought about it. I realized that my clothes, shoes, and bedding were all part of the equation, things I wasn't paying enough attention to. These items could trap odor, even if my body was as fresh as it could be. 1. Changing clothes regularly. When I was younger, I didn't think twice about wearing the same clothes for a few days. But as I got older, I started to notice that my body didn't always keep up with my clothing in the same way. Sweat, oils, and bacteria could build up on clothes, especially in areas where I tend to sweat more, like my armpits, back, and feet. That's when I made a simple change. I started changing my underwear and socks every single day. It might sound obvious, but it's easy to skip during colder months when you're not as likely to sweat as much. But wearing the same clothes for too long allows sweat, oil, and bacteria to accumulate, which contributes to unwanted odors. What helped me? Now, I make it a habit to wear fresh cotton underwear and socks daily. I focus on breathable fabrics that allow my skin to breathe. And for those days when I feel like I'm just staying at home, I still change my socks and underwear. 2. Washing bedding weekly. It's easy to forget that we spend so much of our time lying on our beds. I had never really thought much about the connection between how often I washed my sheets and how fresh I smelled. The reality is that our bodies shed dead skin cells and sweat while we sleep. That means my pillowcases and sheets were absorbing oils, sweat, and bacteria, which made it harder for me to feel truly fresh in the morning. What helped me, I started washing my sheets and pillowcases every week. This simple change made a big difference. I also started putting them outside in the sun to dry. The sun's UV rays naturally kill bacteria and leave everything smelling fresh. If it was a rainy day, I'd just let them air out for a while, but I never let them sit too long without washing. 3. Taking care of shoes. I didn't realize it at first, but my shoes were another culprit in holding on to bad smells. Especially during the colder months, when I wore shoes all day, the sweat from my feet would build up inside and not have a chance to escape. As the day went on, I could smell the odor wafting up whenever I took my shoes off. The solution was simple. I started rotating between 2 or 3 pairs of shoes. This allowed each pair to dry out properly between wears, which helped eliminate the buildup of sweat and bacteria. I also started sprinkling a bit of baking soda inside my shoes to absorb moisture and odors. What helped me? I made sure to take my shoes off when I was inside, giving them some time to air out. I also put a little baking soda inside after every use to keep things fresh. And on sunny days, I'd leave my shoes outside to dry out completely. In conclusion, while I was focusing on my personal habits, I realized that the hidden places where odors hide, like my clothes, shoes, and bedding, were just as important. Paying attention to these areas has made a huge difference in how I smell and how I feel. These small but powerful changes helped me feel fresher, more confident, and most importantly, comfortable with my body again. I no longer feel embarrassed or worried about whether or not people are noticing the smell of age on me. After everything I've shared with you today, I want to leave you with one final thought. Aging doesn't mean giving up on your freshness and confidence. You don't have to accept the changes that come with age and feel embarrassed about them. Yes, there may be changes in how our bodies smell, but that's not a reflection of poor hygiene or laziness. It's simply biology. And with the right habits and understanding, you can take control and feel great again. When I first noticed that my body was starting to change, I felt unsure. It was hard to accept that my body wasn't reacting the same way anymore. But by making small changes, drinking warm water, walking in the sunlight, bathing with care, paying attention to my clothes and bedding, I started to feel better. I felt fresher, more confident, and more connected to those around me. Remember, you're not alone in this. Many older adults experience the same thing. It's common, but it doesn't have to stay that way. You have the power to make a difference, starting today. So, here's my challenge for you. Pick just one thing from today's video and start doing it tomorrow. Whether it's drinking warm water first thing in the morning, taking a gentle walk in the sun, or giving your bedding a fresh wash, every small step you take is a step toward feeling better in your own skin. Take action now and feel the change for yourself. I promise you that it's worth it. If you found this video helpful, please share it with someone you care about. Let's spread the message that aging can be beautiful, and we don't have to hide behind the embarrassment of natural changes. We can embrace it with dignity and self-love. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tips on how to age gracefully and confidently. Leave a comment below to let me know which of the tips you're excited to try first. I'd love to hear your story.